I'm sure you're here to find out what is public relations all about and what's better to understand from the industry experts. In this video, I have got the top communication heads of the best companies in our country, also the CEOs, to talk about what is public relations all about. So guys, make sure that you watch the video till the end to understand what is public relation from the experts. PR exactly is in a simplified language to them.
Okay, so I don't know how many of you are at what age, but let me put it this way. I know for a fact that 70% of kids have taken money for ration, not returned the change. And then 2 days later, your mum or your dad, or my mum or dad, have asked me, वो पैसे का क्या हुआ? That story that you pitched, if it got bought, that is, in a sense, public relations. It's much wider. But for example, if I'm selling this coffee that I'm drinking, this is black coffee, then being able to turn around and say that I drink this because I'm running two companies और अभी मैं भांज नहीं रहा हूँ, because I run two companies, नींद नहीं होती है इसलिए मैं पीता हूँ, is therefore promoting entrepreneurship and saying coffee becomes necessary. Being able to tell a story, or rather let me put it this way, tell a story, tell it well, make some magic, make it sell. That I think is what
That is what PR. I think Sandeep simplified it really well for you guys. और PR and communication industry में आने के पहले सबका एक ही सवाल होता है कि what about the job and the career? So hear out for that. To the world of PR, communication and media, what do you think this industry going to grow? Because there's a myth, right? कि job नहीं मिलती है, इतनी ज़्यादा pay नहीं होती है. So what's your say on that?
Honestly speaking, that is actually a myth. Jobs are galore. I'll give you example in numbers. When I started, my first salary was 12,000 rupees. From what I understand, currently the salary starts at somewhere around, for my firm, it starts around 40. There are firms that go to 45, 50. That's starting salaries.
Now, coming to the job market, Akansha, what do you think? You run a company. So, when kids are like scared कि मैम पैसे डालेंगे, क्या मुझे नौकरी मिलेगी? How you want to address that?
www.theothercircle.com. But that being said, there are enough and more jobs.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a dearth of jobs.
Yeah.
I feel there's a dearth of talent.
So I hope you got the answer from Akansha. So reach out to her, theothercircle.com. And if you're really good at communication, you might end up with an amazing job. And let me tell you guys, she is a BCom graduate. So you don't have to worry about the background that you come from to venture out in communication and PR industry.
Okay, very broad question. PR industry is about in terms of looking at a holistic communication overall. So as in a very different parlance, when you're sitting outside or when you're sitting on your TV channel or when you're reading a newspaper, you look at a very different side of the business.
That's true.
You read things, you probably look at it that, oh, this is very, very much newsy. It is going to be, it has made so much of news. Whereas when you are in a PR side of the business and when you see how it is to be developed, what is to be looked at, there's many things which goes behind.
Yeah.
You have been journalist yourself. You understand that in terms of how the in between people. So we are very frankly, to be honest.
Yeah.
PR is in between the companies and the media guys to probably understand and see how that can be worked around, how it can be packaged, what the messaging needs to be looked at, how it is to be worked around in a cohesive fashion. It has to be planned in a structured format of which news to go first, which news to go second. And then it becomes like a calendar which is for the full year.
Yeah.
That's how the companies become much more, I would say, engaging with media, and that's how companies become consistent into the media discussion.
So as you heard, CEO of Madison PR, इनका भी ये clear कहना था, if you are good at communication, they are willing to hire you. Which means if you're willing to tell a story and tell it well and really passionate about communication industry, it's open for all of you. So before I move on to other interviews, let me tell you how I got to meet the CEOs and PR heads under one roof. So I attended Praxis, which is the biggest public relation and communication summit of our country with School of Communication and Reputation. So yes guys, School of Communication and Reputation got their students to work for this event. So if you want to learn public relation and communication, I think this is one of the best place that student can get hands-on practical, and what's best that you can get a chance to meet the CEOs and PR head and directly make that networking. Now let's hear it from the PepsiCo India head corporate communication, Amit, that what he thinks about what is the difference between PR and marketing and advertising, because so far you understood what is PR, but अक्सर confusion होता है ना ये तीन चीजों में. So he explained it very well.
Now, when we talk about communications, which is PR, and we are at Praxis, how you segregate advertising, marketing, and PR?
All right, so it's a very long question to answer, but to be very creative, I think in everything, whether it is advertising, marketing, or PR, one thing is very common: is what you tell stories.
Yeah.
You tell stories to people, you tell stories to consumers, you tell stories to make an impact. Maybe advertisement is at a very different level where you are doing more of a paid bit of stories, where you're trying to sell your brands, right? Marketing is more elevated when you become very creative. But when it comes to PR, it is the most authentic way of telling stories, where you engage with people, you tell human-centric stories, and also tell the real story behind a story. So I think PR to me, and the best part about PR is, of course, it's largely own PR and earn PR, where you tell stories to people where they tend to believe it more. While marketing is also more of creative, where people get really attached to what your narrative is all about. And advertisement is also a kind of a part of marketing, where you do a lot of paid form of communication, where you attract people to your own narrative, like what not many brands do it, and especially PepsiCo India is really good at marketing.
And now from Anirudh, to understand how these lines are blurred, and if you are great at communication, you can decide your own space in the communication industry.
To define it well is to say that the lines are really, really blurring from what used to be.
Yeah.
I think it all falls into the gamut of communication, and how and what you want to articulate as a brand. So I think when you look at communication as a whole, then all of a sudden in an enterprise, if you look at all the ways an enterprise has to communicate inside, outside, where all does the CEO have to speak, where do salespeople have to speak, all of this is communication. So when you kind of step out and look at communications like that, you see a whole lot of possibilities of where you could add a lot of value as a communication.
As a commission. Okay.
And two more perspective from Nitin and Shibani.
PR is simply telling stories you love, stories you hate, stories you want people to feel. It can make them cry, it can make them smile. It is as simply as that. We at Propaganda believe about storytelling in a creative manner. And for this young audience who want to enter the space of public relation, so how would you define what is public relation exactly?
Well, there are many definitions. The definition I like is the management of perception, right? Management of perception by tailoring information to needs of different audiences.
Okay.
Right? So you are trying to manage the perception of people of a product, a service, an issue, a regulation, anything, right? By tailoring information, right? So you're taking information and using that information in different ways. So for example, when you're talking to a CEO, your information will be very different than you're talking to a vice president in a company.
Okay.
Or when you're talking to a chef versus you're talking to an investment banker, right? So, very different.
I hope guys that you understood what is public relation. I don't think so that you need more explanation to understand public relation and communication. And there are a lot of more content coming up on the communication industry from the same event. And yes, a lot of exciting information that how you can make your successful career in the world of public relation and corporate communications. So guys, make sure that you stay tuned to the channel, subscribe now. And also if you need more information of School of Communication and Reputation, which is SCORE, please check out the description box. There's a link where you can click and directly check out their website and all the details that you want to know about how this whole course works so that you can learn from the best in the industry. I hope guys the video was informative. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for a lot of such informative videos on Media Mentor. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.